I thought I would give a short review of a Prime, which is Amazon Prime historical series about a subject that I know a little bit about. It is about William the Conqueror, and I believe it's called King and Conqueror. More appropriately, it should be called Conqueror and King, but that's not the worst of it. That it is an utterly useless waste of very good actors. A lot that you've seen a lot of times before. The dialogue is absolutely trite and terrible. The ignoring of mores and customs of the time, in both in the speech and the actions of the people. I think it was probably written by somebody out of Vassar or another girls' college in they graduated in the 70s or 80s. And I don't know who did it, but it has women doing things like going down into the basement and torturing people. Um, the women are all, the noble women, royal women, are all far more stable and wiser than the men, who are reactionary in most cases and just idiotic in others and savage. And the women are conniving and clever and quieter, stoic. It is just an utter piece of waste and, shall I say, excrement. I don't want to give it a big review. I didn't even get through the first episode. I don't know how long it is. Probably near an hour. Costuming is fine. Most of the sets are fine. Sometimes they'll slip in a Norman castle when a French castle was more appropriate, or an Anglo-Saxon work is more important. I don't know about the weaponry because I haven't paid. I've been so awed about the terribleness of the dialogue and the tell rather than show methodology of writing a script. I think once again Bezos is throwing his money away, like he did with all of the other horrible, horrible things he's done. The Lord of the Rings crap, which Tolkien I grew up with. I was back in the 60s when the books came out in paperback. I bought them. I confess I even bought the Ace copy, which was a violation of copyright laws. But apparently the laws weren't very clear back in those days. So Tolkien wrote in the back of the Bantam book, which I believe was the proper publisher in the United States of his book, a warning not to buy the Ace brand. Anyway, I don't know why I went off on that, other than to tell you that I'm so brokenhearted about this, because this is a great opportunity to write a great script, and they have all the money they need to do it. They have all the talent on stage they need to do it. And they just, one of them read a book like for, I don't know, women's rights or something like that, I don't know, and decided that they need to insert an African American or an African British guy in, or something like that. Hold on, I got an interruption coming here. Yeah, and my wife just pointed out the fact that you can't tell whether you're in England, France, Normandy, who's who, and the dialogue is just utterly. It's just absolutely terrible. It's modern. It's misunderstandable. It is DEI to the ruin of any enjoyment of the thing. Now, some of them are fine to a point, but you can't have a 1,000-year-old, if you will, story, which most people, especially men, know very well, about William the Conqueror and about the Godwinsons and Edward the Confessor and all that shit. You know, the housecarls and the axes and the battles and all of that stuff. The Battle of Hastings and the one up in northern Mercia or wherever it was. I can't remember the name of it right now. But one other thing I will point out is it's really, really hard to understand the plot, the flow of the plot line, because none of that. It's just a bunch of bickering at the beginning and a lot of name dropping of this lord and this duke and this. What are all the titles in those days? The earl, the duke, the king, and frankly, even I, who are pretty well versed in this history of this and know the people involved, get really confused. And I'm a pretty lucid fellow, even at my age. So I'm broken up again. That I don't know if Bezos even gives a shit. I think he's just stuffing content into this juggernaut of a streaming system that he has. But he sure doesn't have the time or the enjoyment of a good story or the time to develop and be patient enough to get a producer and a director and a writer and some writers that know what they're doing and are not trying to change this into another modern audience. Praise be to the Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic and some of the other honest reviewers out there. I don't know what the other reviews say about this, but I can't watch the whole thing. It's like 8 or 10 episodes or something like that. It's hours and hours and hours of this stuff. Again, the costume is fine. Got great actors, a lot of them from Game of Thrones, a lot of them you've seen play other parts in a lot of British stuff. There's a lot of very familiar faces, and they're all very good actors. And I don't know what's happening. I don't know why this is okay. I don't know why people would stomach this past. It's almost like the masters, the oligarchs who rule us, serve us swill and muck because they don't think we recognize it. We just eat it. No matter whatever is served to us, we eat. And that's really a shame because what it's indicating to me is we don't have people who are doing movies because they love movies. We don't have people who are writing music because they love music. What they want is they want money, and they figure there's a formula for doing that. They knock out that formula, and then they give it a shot. And Bezos has been doing this to other things. Disney's been doing it. What's her name? Catherine or Kathleen Kennedy over at Disney is doing this. They're just ruining the entertainment business. And it's going to take a long time to recover. So we have a completely corrupt political system where we have these guys that come into power, these men that come into power and lie through their teeth. And then as soon as they get in, they change everything they're doing to benefit them and their oligarch friends. Then we have our Congress people like Pelosi and the gal in Maine, is it Republicans, is it Democrats, either one. I'm not going to go off on my political tirade, which I usually it's very easy for me to do that. But this is all being reflected in the absolute corruption of our entertainment system. Just 10 years ago, we had excellent TV, excellent movies. It was kind of a very, very rich target environment, if you will. Now we have nothing. We have any great. So before you get excited about a title, oh, they're going to release the story of William the Conqueror and how it changed European history forever and how it completely, revolutionized Great Britain, changed it completely, stole everything from the nobles that were there and gave it to all of the French nobles, the French Viking, Norman nobles, if you will, and led to about 500-600 years of them fighting each other, raping and pillaging and all that. So it's a pivotal moment in European history, especially Western European history, where half of my family is my ancestors are from Scotland and Northern England, so the other half are Polish. So that's that teaching and that understanding is not really available to me because we don't really celebrate Eastern European history that much because it's not where the United States comes from. It's not where we were born. We were born in England and in the fields of reason, etc. We had very little to do with all the machinations going on in Eastern Europe at the time, which were significant and interesting. But I think culturally we all kind of identify with, the Anglo-Saxon Roman trace. So anyway, rather than me babbling further, don't waste your time with this movie. I'd say see 15, 20 minutes of it. If you're not startled by some of the absolutely ridiculous behaviors, violation of all the norms of that period in history, poor script writing. Now you will like the costumes, and you will like most of the scenery, and the production values in that sense are pretty high. So if you want to watch it for that, that's fine. Just don't listen to anything because it's not going to make any sense, and it's certainly not entertaining. Okay, that's all I've got. I do about 11 and a half minutes here, so thanks for listening.